Okay, we're doing a special one today with Satiratician. I know people have called you like a Statistician or a Satiricician or well, I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm like English is like my third language, and I don't know how people get your name wrong.
I don't know. It's kind of a running joke, I think, since I did that collaboration with Bearing and he pronounced it a different way every time.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I think
uh,
it's just a running joke from there. I think some people genuinely do struggle to pronounce it, but for the most part, it's just fucking about.
yeah. Kind of want to talk about like uh the British politics with you, and I know also kind of BBC is also part of that, and
Hmm.
like how is British politics right now? Because I know I've seen the petition of like banning Trump and the whole Brexit thing, and I mean how is politics
There
right
was a
there?
petition. The politics here, in one word, is hypocrisy. Um, there was a petition circulating to try and ban Donald Trump from coming to the UK on state visits. It got enough signatures to be debated in Parliament, and I believe Parliament rejected it. So Donald Trump will still be coming to the UK as planned. But I think the biggest hypocrisy of British politics at the minute is Theresa May being in power, because a couple of years back, Gordon Brown took over from Tony Blair, and Theresa May was a massive figurehead, saying that there needs to be a new election. He can't just take power. We need to hold another election straight away to try and elect a leader rather than someone inheriting the position. And then she inherits the position, absolutely silent on the idea of calling for a new vote to see if she can keep hold of that power.
Huh. And is gonna be? Are they gonna wait until the next election then?
Yeah, she's in charge until the next election, and I imagine she'll still lead the Tory party if they win the next election.
Okay. Yeah, because you have the similar parliament system as we have here in Norway, so I'm kind of familiar with it. But and you have like the House of Lords and House of Commons, I think, which is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
biggest
The House of
difference.
Lords a little bit outdated. They don't really do that much that I'm aware of. A lot of people think that it's kind of like it should be gotten rid of, but I don't know. I see a purpose in it, but a lot of other people don't. And yeah, in the
Okay.
comments, I understand that it wasn't like banning Trump from coming to the country like a full Trump ban. It was to stop the state visit, but it was debated and rejected, and I think that state visit is going to go ahead as normal.
Yeah, I don't know how these people think that a petition for something this important is gonna stop anything. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, why? It's fucking idiots. Idiots signed that thing. Why would you alienate our best ally with the most powerful military on the planet? I mean, what went through their brain when they thought, oh yeah, let's piss off America?
Yeah, it's like having the making another referendum for the Brexit right after having this one. It's like
Yeah, that's not how democracy works. You
hey,
don't keep voting until you get the result you want. You vote and you go with what gets voted for.
like it's just take the L and try to make the best of it. Like Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah, and
Um.
I think I read actually just a couple of minutes ago on the BBC News app. I keep it on there for a laugh. That Theresa May has begun negotiations for exiting or something, or she's been given permission to start negotiations to begin the exiting procedure to trigger Article 50. I don't think it's going to happen until I think they said 2019, but it is taking a fucking long time. I think the media is just stalling to try and make Brexit look like the worst idea in the entire universe, and at the last minute decide, oh, you know what, let's stay. And I don't know. I don't trust. It's catch-22. Who do you trust more? Politicians that run the country or media where we get all our information from? Both of them are backstabbing cunts.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit before we started this, but like BBC, you like basically it's tax funded. You pay a license, but it's basically a tax. We have the same thing here,
TV
but
license, yeah.
yeah, it's a license, but that's technical. You're basically funding
Yeah, it's
it
basically television. You have a
yeah.
television capable of watching the BBC, which every television in Britain is. You have to have a TV license.
Yeah, it's the same here, and I don't really understand how the regressive like policies they've, I think it was last year if I'm not mistaken, like they're gonna have like quotas of people like able like people in wheelchairs, people of color, and all these stupid like quotas instead of like having the best person for the job.
Yeah. So this
Have you talked about like this with your mates, and how do you look at it when you have to pay a fee and you see these idiots basically having communist values?
It does annoy me, the whole TV license thing. There was a movement recently, the idea of scrapping it, but the idea of scrapping it has been scrapped. The TV license is here to stay for the time being. But it annoys me for the fact that we're the only country that pay it, despite the BBC being broadcast around the world. There's BBC America, there's BBC in other countries. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, we have something called we have something called the BBC Brit. So
yeah, I mean, pretty much every country has the BBC, but we're the only ones that pay the license to watch it. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole mentality is, but they're also gonna like force quotas on like the TV shows they're gonna air. So they're gonna have like,
really?
Yeah, I saw after like the mark was like 2020, and now I think it was October. I saw the. If I find the source, I'm gonna put it in the description after the stream. But it was basically the new series they're gonna launch. They have to have like certain people of color, and the producers also have like I think it was 3% like people in wheelchairs or some stupid stuff like that, and I don't even get it's gonna be bad.
It's gonna fuck with programs. I mean, I'm laying good odds that the next Doctor in Doctor Who is gonna be a black woman.
Yeah, like, it's gonna be something like that, because Peter Capaldi announced like today or yesterday that he was gonna basically hang up his mantle as Doctor Who. And we know
I haven't actually watched Doctor Who in quite a while.
No, me neither. I don't know crap about Doctor Who, but I just know that feminists have been like screeching autistically that Doctor Who should become a woman. I'm like, okay.
Well,
it's like that.
I don't think that Doctor Who should become a woman, and that raises a whole nother point where like they're saying, oh, why can't we have a female James Bond? It's not that I'm against the idea of females being strong characters. I'm against ruining the lore and canon of a series. You know, why don't we have a male Wonder Woman in that case? That's not the character. It's like, why don't we have a female James Bond? Why don't we have a black James Bond? Because that's not James Bond.
Because I've been really frustrated with comics when I've seen this, and also in movies, whereas in Hollywood, where these self-righteous bastards are imposing quotas or changing, like Hamilton, they basically blackwash the entire thing, and you have like comic books where you cast someone who isn't that certain race or ethnicity or whatever into a role, and because comic books are very specific, because the entire lore is it's not just written, it's specific how the characters look, because it's a visual medium. And I'm just sick of Hollywood, like basically changing, because I am really fond of like comic books and comic book movies.
Yeah.
And
See,
I
think
really hate that stuff.
The solution to the problem would be, don't change what's currently out there and what's currently popular. Create new content that's fresh, off the mantle, that contains some fucking powerful woman who goes around pointing out privilege or whatever they want. I don't care. But don't change what's already out there. Try and get it to take off. But they know that it won't take off, because the kind of people that complain about it are not the kind of people that are going to get into comic books or get into films. That's not their thing. They just want to ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah, because Supergirl is one example. I tried. It was excruciating watching the first season, because what's the woman who played Ally McBeal? I can't remember. Calista Flockhart. She's basically a third wave feminist in that series. And in one episode, she basically says, "Because you're privileged cis white male." She actually said that in a fucking series.
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
and then they instead of having like a nerdy kid playing Jimmy Olsen, it's a big buff black guy, and they changed the race of Lois Lane, or at least her sister is Latina for some odd reason, and and Superman was cast by was also basically a Latino guy who was cast.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So,
I mean, how would they feel if you know, a black icon, I don't know, say they were making a film about the life of Martin Luther King, and they decided to get a white guy to play, like Matt Damon or something like that, to play Martin Luther King? That'd be fucking outrage.
well,
There is outrage. Like, there is like, oh, why are you constantly getting white actors to play Asian character roles? Why do you want Asian characters to play white character roles? It's just, the hypocrisy is ridiculous. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
you know, it's at that level of hypocrisy. You just can't explain it.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. My feelings are neutral, but they cast a white dude to play Michael Jackson later in his life, and I find that kind of interesting, because that wouldn't actually be that much of a stretch, because his skin color
I mean,
was.
he did kind of like turn white, like, I don't know,
Yeah, because
maybe he just got so
he
much
did have
privilege, he just like morphed into a white guy or something.
Yeah, but I've also seen. I don't know if you've heard about all the outrage with Scarlett Johansson and Ghost in the Shell, but
I
they
haven't.
accuse.
I go out of my way to avoid celebrity stuff like that. But please
Yeah,
tell me about it.
but Scarlett Johansson was basically cast in an anime turned to live action, and they basically accused it of like whitewashing. The problem is nobody knows the origin of that character, and in the series she looks pretty white. So
Ghost in the Shell.
and
I think I remember seeing. I'm probably drunk at the time.
she's basically a cyborg, and they just gave her a Japanese name because they don't know who she's basically lost her memory.
See, that's the thing. I mean,
And
most animes to come out of Japan, the characters look white.
yeah, I mean, Full Metal Alchemist is supposedly to be German. So, and they made a movie in Japan with just Japanese actors. Am I supposed to bitch about that?
I mean, if you look at Death Note as well, I mean, I don't know if you've seen Death Note. Light Yagami looks
Yeah, I
very
know of
white.
it. I know of it.
You know, all of the characters look white. I mean, they go out of their way to make them look Western, with whiter skin, wider eyes. You know, it's obviously not intended to be an Asian playing the role.
Yeah, I mean, there was also the god awful Dragon Ball Z movie a few years ago, and they had a white guy playing Goku. The problem is, Goku is an alien, so saying he's Asian is fucking stupid to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know
So,
what race you get to fill an alien's shoes.
so even though that movie was god awful, like who the hell? What kind of? And he's white, and if you see his face, he doesn't exactly. He has big fucking eyes, so it doesn't really look like he's Asian.
Yeah, and that's the sort of hallmark of like, you know, the manga thing is it's always with the eyes. They've always got fucking enormous half the face eyes, and it's a far cry from Japanese people who have, you know, smaller eyes. Without trying to sound racist.
Someone in the chat says Sean in Runte. It's why Sean Connery Bond was the most accurate portrayal, saying mentioning your Bond thing. And also Riley Dennis could play the alien. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that guy. I discovered him for.
the alien.
I discovered his channel like almost 2 years ago. And that guy has not has just become more. The first video I saw of him was him like listing his identities. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh wow, that's
where he said he was.
Yet, but
yeah, he said it was one of his first videos, I think. Basically saying he was gender fluid or something, trans, lesbian, non-binary, some stupid crap like
trans
that.
lesbian.
And
so Riley Dennis, yeah, I think I know this one. Isn't he's basically a trans, like long brown hair, looks like a stickweed.
He's just a dude with some makeup on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna respect and call you by the preferred pronoun if you actually go through with the transition. But if you're just gonna put a little makeup on and you just wanna screw girls, what the hell?
Pretty much.
I'm not.
You're basically just a drag queen at that point. You're not trans.
Well, he's not even that. He just has a little eyeliner on. He doesn't even put that much effort into that. So.
I don't know if you can get like corrective surgery to remove that massive Adam's apple of his. I looked up Riley Dennis on.
Yeah, I've seen so many memes about that. Jesus.
Yeah.
But regarding that that whole snowflake identity, I don't know how is your like royal how, or I don't know how, like queen and all that. Do they do all that type of crap?
No, not at all. Not that I've seen. The men are men, the women are women. They're proper lords and ladies. That, you know, they don't go around saying that they're fucking proper Mappuccino gendered.
Yeah, because our princess, who actually didn't denounce being a princess, she's gone full fucking Tumblr. Like 10 years ago, she started like angel school and said she could talk to angels and all that type of stuff. And now, I think yesterday, she came out and said she was hypersensitive. Basically, she couldn't handle criticism. Like she basically bought into the whole Tumblr shit. Like she's basically an angelkin who's triggered all the fucking time.
At the risk of making an enemy of your entire country, I think that member of royalty needs to be put down.
Well, technically, she's not no longer royalty. So.
Oh, okay, all right. What,
she like, denounced like or announced whatever, which I'm really glad for. But Jesus Christ, like, what the hell is wrong with these people?
I don't know. There needs to be something in your brain that just snaps to think, oh, I know, I'm going to stop being a proper man and I'm going to dress up like a chick and still, for some reason, date women. I could understand maybe if you're a gay guy, like a submissive gay guy, and you wanted to be more feminine, but this Riley kid, he's straight. He's a straight guy that dresses as a girl and has sex with girls. I mean,
Well,
there must be something wrong with him. I'd love to get a brain scan of him.
well, I think psychologists would have a field day. Also, the chat is wondering which princess. It's a Norwegian one. Myrta Louise is what she's called. So just to clear that one up. Yeah, because the whole there is like a village here with feminists who are like crazy, but those are like the only ones we got. But they usually stick to themselves. Sometimes they come out and protest shit like 50 Shades of Grey and stand outside with like signs, but that's about it.
I bet you there wouldn't be a peep out of it if it was like some book about femdom where it was a woman in control of men. There wouldn't be a word about it.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen some stuff coming out from you, like Britain, where you've had some like special snowflakes on campuses trying to.
Oh yeah, we've got a lot of that. We actually have quite a serious problem with SJWs here. Nottingham, for example, it's quite an old news story, but I'm going to mention it in my next video, which should hopefully be out probably early hours of this morning. Misogyny as a hate crime, and that can be anything as little as wolf whistling at a woman.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, that's so ambiguous. Like, how?
Yeah,
it's a nebulous term. How are you gonna actually enforce that stuff?
Or prove it? I mean, CCTV cameras, while they're great for seeing someone get stabbed, they can't exactly pick up like a comment or a whistle or something like that. I could just see the law being abused where you've got a woman who sees her ex and she's out with a group of her friends and just say, oh, let's just say he said something horrible to me, we'll call the police, we'll get him done. I mean, it could be so easily abused.
Yeah, I don't see this being abused at all. And also on like the campuses, because it's not as bad as like say San Francisco or like US some places.
Yeah,
Missouri,
Central.
Yeah, because those are pretty with the whole safe spaces. But I know the like diversity officer at Oxford or some stuff like that basically told kill all men or some stuff like that. And Mustafa, I think was her last name, and she was reported to the police, but nothing happened.
Mustafa, I think all charges on that were dropped. She didn't even lose her position as equality officer on the university.
Yeah, which boggles my mind. I mean, the only instance where I've at university, where I had one lecturer, she had two lecture where she basically just bashed men and said masculinity was toxic. But I really wanted to like stand up and like tell her off, but I wanted to pass the course. And it was such a minor. It wasn't even part of the like course, so it didn't really matter that much. Her ranting, but I've experienced it myself, but I don't. Is it that prevalent, or is it just like a few places in the UK?
I think there are a lot of universities that are now pandering to it because that's sort of like the millennial rallying cry. So universities who charge for entry are obviously going to try and alter their perspectives, their views, their rules to appeal to that particular demographic and screw the academics, screw the achievements that could be made. It's all about getting students in and paying for courses, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, people have seen like the protests and all that kind of crap in the US, where it's much more prevalent. But there are also more universities, so the ratio also kind of adds up compared to like smaller countries.
I mean,
But
some of the videos I've seen of protests on American campuses where students are screaming in the face of professors who disagree with their philosophy. What happened to the days where they would just be simply kicked out of the university? I mean, how is that behavior allowed? I mean, can you imagine taking that behavior from university to a professional workplace and acting like that? It's just, it boggles my mind, the fact that, I mean, I remember days where, you know, you'd get kicked out. You'd get kicked out of the university. You'd get kicked out of school for talking to a teacher like that. Hell, back in my parents' days, you get your ass kicked.
yeah, I mean, I haven't experienced it myself or heard of it being a thing in my country, but I imagine if something like that happened, they would get kicked the fuck out. So, um,
Yeah, I mean, I
uh,
got suspended from school once or twice for talking back to teachers. It was just something that happened. But now, apparently, if you're a woman or of color, it's, you know, it's looked the other way. But God forbid a white man did that. You know, he'd be off campus before you could fucking say, you know, hypocrisy.
I mean, we can see that with men, like the whole false rape accusations, where you're automatically like kicked off out of the university, even though it doesn't say if you're. It might be even a false rape accusation, but you're basically ruining someone else's education,
Yeah,
time and
with
money.
rape accusations, it is essentially guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
That seems to be the philosophy. Even with the accusation, you get kicked off campus, you'll lose months of work. I don't even know if they'll allow you back on campus once you're found innocent of the charge, and there'll be no comeuppance for the woman.
Yeah. Is that a thing like in the UK where you get kicked off
I've
if
heard
you're
I've heard of
accused?
cases. I need to do a little more research, but I have heard of cases where people have simply been accused of rape and basically barred from entering campus while the investigation went on.
Well, that would be more fair, but you're not actually kicked off, though, which is actually more fair, because I don't get that treatment where you can just kick someone off entirely out of the entire program, which
Yeah.
they earned fair and square.
And so that's another thing. Since you mentioned the whole rape situation, it's another thing that is incredibly unfair here in UK law. Only men can be convicted of rape. It is
Yeah,
impossible for a
I know.
woman to be convicted of rape.
Like female development isn't part of like British law.
Yeah, it
So
basically rape is done with male genitalia. If a woman were to say use an object on a man who was unconscious or unwilling or something like that, that isn't rape. That's sexual assault, which is a much lesser
yeah,
charge.
yeah,
Which is absolutely
that's really
absurd.
screwed up. Yeah, I
Like
mean, we had
I would
a.
quite like. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead, go on.
I was going to say I would like to get in touch and collaborate with Sargon of Akkad, because I know he's done this kind of thing before, and work on him to start a petition to change the law to allow pretty much, you know, in this new age of equality, to allow women to be charged with rape should, you know, they engage in sexual unconsenting acts against men. I'd like to work with him to start a petition to actually change the law in that regard.
Yeah, because I think it was like 15 years ago here, around that time, the first male actually came forward and reported a woman to have raped him, and everyone was basically laughing at the guy who did it anonymously because he didn't want to come forward because he would be ridiculed. I don't know how the case ended up. I think she went to prison, but it just shows the stigma of like men getting raped. Like one other defense attorney actually said, "Why didn't he just shut up and enjoy it?" And some stuff like that. Like,
Oh
Jesus
God, that's like there was
Christ.
a Republican saying, "Oh well, you know, if the woman didn't want the baby, it would be aborted in the fetus without any help." It's just fucking stupid. I mean, these people have no idea. it plays into the hands of them saying, oh well, men want sex all the time anyway, which is bollocks. You know, there's been times where I've just not been in the fucking mood. I've been tired from work or something, just want to get some sleep. It's, you know, it's ridiculous to assume that especially in this sort of like climate of equality that you know, SJWs and the regressive left keep pushing us towards, even though we've gone past it, that that men can't be raped. It's absurd.
Yeah, like I really wanted to go and watch the Red Pill movie. It was being shown in one night in Oslo, but I couldn't go because I had work. So, but I really wanted to watch that because it doesn't really have a wide release, and just all the issues. And I don't know if you saw this, but I found it quite ironic. Um, you know, the women's march in the U.S. with did you see the rebel female
Oh
rebel
yeah,
reporter, like
uh, yeah,
um,
yeah.
I, I
Lauren
have the
Southern or
top
something.
comment on that video, which is kind of hilarious. Basically, I said like they march for women, and the guy punches a woman and then proceeds to like blame the woman and defend the guy.
I've seen a lot of you know, they're claiming the moral high ground, but they've been attacking and people. They've been smashing windows, and the carnage they leave behind is, you know, ridiculous. Like they had these woman marches against Trump all over the country, and it was left to men to clear up the mess. You know, the male
Yeah,
street cleaners.
yeah, I've seen
Uh,
pictures of that. But what I find actually most frightening was the one in Berlin where they were shouting Allahu Akbar.
what, like
The
the
feminists
feminists?
there. Yeah,
Oh Jesus
like there were
Christ! That
five of them, I think, with like the megaphones, and one of them was like you know, with the prayer song when they like say Allahu Akbar and like pray,
yeah.
bow down. That's basically what she was doing for like two
I think
minutes or
Allah
something.
Akbar literally translates to God is great or God is greater
Yeah,
or something like that.
yeah, God is great, basically, and
Yeah.
that's what she was like. They've
In Germany, of
become
all places,
yeah,
where there was massive rape scandals with refugees.
yeah, because
Like,
like New Year's this year they had massive police presence, and they were actually evacuating because it happened again, and they were having none of that shit this year
mm.
in Cologne. So, I don't know. I didn't hear about this other places, but I have like tourists which I talk to when they're here, and I, just the entire every one of them like says they're sick and tired of like taking all these refugees in. Um, I know Britain has also had an issue with too many. Well, wasn't that like one of the reasons you got out of it?
I think the EU fined us because we set a cap of like only letting 20,000 handpicked, vetted refugees into the country or something like that. And
Yeah, but
it was mostly like children and women, not from the refugee camps, but like from actually inside Syria.
mm. Yeah, because I saw like the day of the Brexit vote where a lot of people expressed not being satisfied because of a lot of immigration, not just in general,
Mm.
in the UK, and they were kind of sick of it. Those were
But see, that's the
the
thing. I mean, there
work.
seems to be this thought that we're all of a sudden going to become like North Korea. Our borders will still be open. It's just we won't have free movement of travel, which I think is super important at the minute because all of these refugees are getting like German citizenship status, which means they're EU citizens. They can travel freely around the EU, including to Britain. I don't want that. You know, I'd rather secure our borders so we can control who comes in, who comes out. We can bring in the labor that we need, and unskilled labor that we don't need, we won't let in, so that British people can take those jobs. Because I can't tell you how difficult it is for unskilled workers to find work in the UK, because there are so many Eastern Europeans over here diluting the workforce.
Yeah. That's why also one of the reason I'm really against the EU, because the officials there aren't even elected democratically. They're
No, they're
just
not. No,
appointed.
I think I said, like, there's apparently 3 presidents of the EU. It's so decentralized. Like, if you wanted to complain about something, you wouldn't have a clue where to go.
Yeah. And like it also changes, like each country. I think it's each year. Um, but those are a little bit more conflicted when I talk to like tourists from Germany. They're conflicted about the EU, but all of them are have agreed upon, like the immigration has to stop. But I don't know why like these countries like suddenly figured this out after a year of that crap. Last year was pretty bad, where
Yeah.
you had like I think it was 300,000 of those immigrants that came to Germany were charged with crime at one point or another. That's like a third of the immigrants who
And it's
and the asylum
yeah, and
seekers.
the amount in 2017, I'd be surprised if it doesn't spike to about 1.5 million refugees in Germany. I mean,
Yeah,
I
and there are like
don't.
dark numbers which are way worse,
Hmm,
which haven't been
yeah, and I
because
don't see what Merkel is hoping to achieve. I mean, the evidence is clear that this is not working, and there are Muslim countries that are safer for them to go to, where they could actually be with their own culture, and no refugees have been taken in by those countries, like Saudi
yeah,
Arabia,
like yeah, Saudi
Qatar.
Arabia has like room for 3 million. With
Yeah, it was
so
like there are 3 million air conditioned tents that get used for
yeah,
like 1 week of the year, and they're completely empty, and they've taken in none.
yeah, and I saw a documentary in German of a small town which like who, accepted or had to be forced to take in immigrants, and where the immigrants were like held was the road to school for many, for like children.
Mm.
And it was becoming a problem that the immigrants were touching the children inappropriately.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the mayor of that city basically said, you have to take another route, or and just accept them, because that's just a culture, instead of like arresting them. There it's
mm.
just, no, it's okay, it's just a culture, you have to
It's
go.
absolutely
And
absurd.
like, it's our own goddamn country. It was like an assembly where they talked to the mayor with them being very displeased with how that guy was running things, and that's the answer they got. So
It is
I
absurd. I
mean,
mean, any country that you're going to, that country's culture should take precedence. It's our culture that you don't touch kids. I,
yeah,
it baffles me. Fucking, I don't know. I just don't see how this crisis has come about. I mean, if Germany, it, I mean, what I don't know what Merkel's end game plan is. I mean, Germany is a lost cause at this point. I apologize to anybody watching that's German. My advice would be run while you can. We'll gladly accept you in Britain while we're still within the EU. So just get out of Germany and just declare it a lost cause.
yeah,
Sweden
because
as well, to be honest.
well, I'm a neighbor to Sweden, and they're fucking done for. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Doesn't it
Uh,
worry you that that Sweden is in such dire straits, and you're so close to that. You know, if that does
Well,
become some kind of like jihadi hotspot, it's only a hop across the border before you know, any attack could be launched against like your country.
well, the difference between Sweden and Norway is that our borders are very strict. So we have the strictest policy in actually entire Europe. We let I think we let in 40,000 and sent back like half of them at least. So we're Norway is pretty freaking strict when it comes to border policy and
Yeah,
like
but I mean, like with like you know, like terrorist networks and stuff like that. When they're in a network, they're easy enough to keep an eye on, and security services do a pretty good job with that. But it's sort of like lone wolf attacks, like the attack in I think the latest truck attack was on a Christmas market in Germany, was it?
yeah. But the bigger
that guy originated in Poland. He stole the truck in Poland, drove it to Germany, and threw a Christmas market. So I
yeah.
mean, anything like that could happen in Sweden. A truck could be stolen in Sweden, driven across the border,
Well,
and you know,
yeah.
kill a whole load of happy Scandinavians.
Yeah, I mean, we had Anders Behring Breivik who killed 71 people. So we also had the other, we had the right wing extremists who basically killed people because of the incoming, because of the like white genocide is basically why it did it. But the major problem here is there aren't like real terrorist gangs or terrorist cells in Norway. The issue is more like gangs where they go around raping and like stealing from people. That's like the bigger issue here.
Yeah,
They have arrested like I think 2-3 people like the last few years, but it's very calm in that way with terrorism and stuff like that. But the bigger issue is like around Oslo, at least the biggest city where you have these gangs who like rape people.
Cities tend to become hotbeds for gangs. Wherever you get cities, you get like a subculture of gangs.
Yeah, and that's like the biggest issue. I mean, with Sweden, it's way worse. It's entire neighborhoods because our like one of our BBC basically it's called NRK. Where they interviewed the guy who was on Rubin Report, like the economist. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I know the Rubin Report. I'm not sure what economist.
No, he's basically the TLDR is basically he's a Swedish economist, and he's not even a politician or anything like that. But he was looking at the immigrants and like the Swedish model, and said like we have to stop letting people in for now, get a control of the situation so we can stimulate the economy and not get a strain on our welfare system, because Sweden has a pretty good welfare system. And during that interview, he was basically threatened because he was talking about it, and and at the end they were chased away from it. And in the same basically area, there were other journalists from like Australia and I think it was ABC Australia or something. They were the cameraman was run over and they were attacked by these immigrants. So there's basically no-go zones, and they basically also ambush ambulances. They call ambulances to these areas, ambush them, so police have to come and escort them out again.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
So that's a really big problem. And the police often, when they're going into certain areas, they have to like put on bulletproof vests and have like full SWAT equipment just to like be ready, because they ambush police as well.
Yeah, I know London is quite a dangerous area. Like there are a few rumors where there are like no-go zones for police and stuff like that. And I used to work in London, and my previous job, I worked in London for about 3 years, and it took me all around London, and it didn't seem as bad as people made it out to be. There are a few times where I got a few funny looks, but I never worked alone. I always had someone there, and it was a tough job. So we were big lads, and I don't know. It just seems like the police never had that vibe of "there's nowhere we can go," because there's been an increase in the amount of firearms units going around, and they're not really people you fuck with. They're like generally ex-military, excellent with their guns, very well trained, very well disciplined.
Yeah, Norway also like police. Until last year, I didn't actually go with guns either, and the police never really shoot anyone. But it's also a small country, so it's hard to like compare to like US.
Yeah,
That's such a large, but you also have like a very liberal gun politics where basically anyone can get guns. So, but in Norway, it's such a small country, but it's also so peaceful and different compared to like other countries. So it's hard to like compare, at least with Britain, because it's also so big. But your police doesn't have guns as well. Well, ours didn't either until last year.
we have firearm response units, but generally Bobbies on the beat don't carry guns. No, they've got like a truncheon, like extendable baton thing, and a pepper spray usually. But yeah, like with London, we actually have a Muslim mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, and it seems like he is attempting to implement Muslim values under the guise of social justice. Like,
Yeah, I've heard about that.
It's now illegal to sort of show half-naked women on billboards to advertise things. This is obviously offensive to Muslims because they think women should be covered in burqas, etc., and the like. And he managed to push this through under the guise of body shaming. Saying that showing half-naked women that look good, it's offensive to fat people, obviously. So now that law has been passed, and it's absurd because they're laying the groundwork for the perfect cover for this ideology to slowly take over while being cheered on by the regressive left. Because all it takes is one smart man like Sadiq Khan, and all of a sudden, you've got basically a Muslim haven with all the excuses made previously by the Tumblrites.
Yeah,
and yeah, they have tasers as well.
I don't.
We have tasers.
I just can't fathom the fascination with these SJWs and feminists and Islam. Like that, those two don't even go together. Not one bit.
No, I know, but they've made this weird unholy alliance.
Yeah, they've basically regressed that much that they have gone back to like religious fundamentalist Puritan roots and joined with what is the most hardcore Puritan religion right now, at least most widespread, at least.
Yeah,
which is Islam.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd say it's not necessarily become a religion, but they've definitely got that sort of radical religious mindset, which is quite depressing for the fact that people in the 21st century could still think like religious zealots from history. But they certainly have that mindset of they're right and anyone else that disagrees are heathens that deserve to be fired from their jobs and publicly shamed and things like that. It is quite sad, and I think that's why we don't see more opposition to it, is because a lot of people, while they agree with what we say, if they speak up, they risk losing their jobs because feminists will go on letter writing campaigns and destroy lives, destroy careers. I mean, people have families, they have mortgages, they can't afford the risk.
Yeah, I totally understand that, but this again goes back to the women's march, where you had like the founder of that, or if you so to speak, or the organizer, who is pro Sharia law and said like under Sharia law all your loans, student loans disappear and stuff like that. And they were tying hijabs at the women's march and saying, "Oh my God, such a touching moment."
Okay,
I'm like,
no.
what?
I
And
think I
having
think
like
all the
pussy,
student loans would disappear because under Sharia law, all the universities would disappear along with the rest of the education and scientific advancements and all the books in
or
there would be
the
burned.
men would have to pay for them.
All that. Well, I mean, under Sharia law, the women wouldn't go to university anyway because doesn't it forbid women to learn?
Yeah, and
I know.
she,
Actually, the Bible itself, which is like a more tame version of the Quran, uh, basically says that women aren't allowed to wear clothes that men wear because that means they are an abomination in the eyes of God or something. Things like
yeah,
Timothy 2:21 or something.
yeah. We also have Leviticus, which is pretty bad in that one, but that's going off the topic way. But
Yeah, yeah.
you you have the women march where they have pussy hats and or vagina hats, and then they tie hijabs and punch females. It's like, can't they see their own like SJW or as feminism has become a religion, a Puritan religion, which is regressive as hell.
It is, and I don't know. It's almost like it's turning on itself and eating itself from the inside out. And once it's done, what will be left is Islam.
Yeah, because I saw like signs saying white feminism is white supremacy or some shit like that. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And I remember there was also a
Yeah,
movement in the LGBT community to try and have gay men kicked out because white gays still have white privilege or something like that. So they thought they should exclude them and have it only as special snowflake gendered trans people and stuff like that.
yeah.
So it is just, it is misandry at its finest in that regard. But sorry, carry on with what you were.
No, I wasn't really saying. It's just the whole white male privilege, basically making men or at least white men, the
Just a
class
scapegoat. Yeah.
who
It's just a
scapegoat to.
scapegoat for everything that goes wrong.
Yeah, and a patriarch is like just like the Islamic or a Christian god, which they can't prove. It's just there. You don't know, even if you don't know, you have it. You have white male privilege because of the patriarchy.
Yeah, it's like the fucking Illuminati. It's just a fear mongering thing that can't be proven or disproven because it's not really there. It's like the devil. It's like the monster under the bed. It's just people with these childish mindsets that want an excuse for why they're such abject failures.
Yeah, I saw this. Like, say what you want about Trump. I'm not really pro Trump, but if I was gonna vote, I would have voted for him if I was in the United States. But the hypocrisy of like the feminists, like, these countries or people from these countries won't be able to get in, even though Obama did the same stuff, and then nobody mentions like the Muslim countries that deny Israeli passes or like Jews coming in.
Yeah,
Like, nobody mentions that.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are a ton of Muslim countries that ban uh, Israelis because they're Jewish. But obviously, the thing to complain about is Trump denying access to Muslims from terror-linked countries.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest supporter of Trump. I mean, uh, but he's keeping what he's promised, so I have to give him that.
To be honest, yeah, it's the only politician I've ever seen follow through on any promise ever,
Yeah, pretty much.
except
Because they're
the
usually,
Brexit vote, because I didn't expect that to actually happen, but it did.
yeah. Um, I mean, my country, they're really not that bad of keeping promises here. But like Norwegians have it so good, they don't really need to promise that much, to be honest. So, the
Mm.
only thing like is like one party is like, oh, we should have like a strict border policy, but that's about it. That's what like differentiates them from everyone else. Like, so compared to like other countries.
Problem with a strict border policy. I think that first and foremost, you need to look after your own people. I mean, look at Germany. Take Germany and Sweden as an example of what happens when you don't have strict border policies. That is a lesson that is incredibly bitter, and we should learn from it.
Yeah. Um, I saw there is a like 3 4 minute clip of a of an economist using like marbles to illustrate um or like refugees all over the world, or like people in poor countries which should be able to come to the West or claiming to come to West. And you have like a yearly you have like maybe like a million or something, but you have like 100 million people who would need that. So the solution isn't to
Mm.
take immigrants in. It would be learning people to start businesses, and learn people to be self-sufficient. Basically, the fish,
It's basically
s-
fixing up their countries so they don't
yeah,
feel the need to come
the
to us.
fish fable. If you learn, give a man a fish, he's full for that day. But if you learn a man how to fish, he
Yeah.
can take care of himself for the rest of his
But
life.
you see, that's the thing. I mean, that's a cultural thing. I remember there's a comedian, Frankie Boyle, who made a joke that put it quite well in perspective, and that's if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you give him a fishing rod, he'll swap it for a fish.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite true. It's more about sort of the education behind it, and actually charity itself, in terms of donating clothes and food and stuff like that, it's actually quite damaging to the countries that these donations being sent to, because it stops the ability for these countries to start their own businesses. Why would somebody spend their money and buy clothes when they're having charitable donations of clothes given to them for free? It's destroying the ability for them to start businesses in those areas.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
while certain charities like food charities would certainly help, donating things like clothes and toys and what have you, all the stuff like that, it's destroying the industries of those countries, because no one is going to buy them because they're going to get a shipment of it for free.
Well, when you have humanitarian crisis, you need to like use charity to save people with doctors, like medicine, food, water, a place to actually sleep. But
Yeah,
when that's not the case, it's just poor people. You need
yeah.
to actually show solidarity by actually teaching them, and just giving them charity won't fix everything, because
I think if there's
like
going to be any
no,
charity, it should be people volunteering to go over there and help build schools to teach them how to
yeah.
basically look after themselves, build infrastructure, roads between towns, maybe build hospitals, teach people in basic medical techniques. Just
Yeah, I've seen like programs of people in poor countries which are given scholarships to the US or whatever, and they learn how to and they get a degree in something, and they can teach that on.
can teach
That's the way to do it.
and pass the knowledge on, thus preventing anyone from, well, not from wanting to leave, but it would improve the quality of life.
Yeah, I think that's the way to actually solve that one. Um, I think we're getting close to the hour mark. I think we've had a pretty lengthy discussion, so I don't think we
I
should.
think we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, I think we covered enough ground. I'll put your channel in the description below. I know that I don't have that many subscribers, but I mean, if they want to check your channel out, I gave.
It really helps.
So even though I only have 600 of them, I mean, if you guys wanna go to Satiratician's channel and check his stuff out, I like his stuff. I've been subscribed to for quite some time actually, so I
appreciate
enjoy
you
your
sticking
stuff. Yeah, I enjoy your stuff very much. So I
around.
don't know if there's anything you want to say before we close this off.
No, I think we covered a lot of ground. Someone in the chat there saying that the UK sends 60 million to India for humanitarian aid. I completely agree that we should stop doing that. They have a very, very strong economy. Like you say, they run a space program. It's 60 million that could be reinvested in Britain. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's very true. On that note, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, thanks for tuning
Thanks
in.
for having me
See
on.
ya. Bye.